Hey guys, it's Mrs. Dugan. So today we're going to be talking about the CSA that we're about to start, which is our rock cycle CSA, part of our Earth Science unit, the first half. So first things first, what is this CSA going to be about? It is about creating a 2D model of the rock cycle. And 2D model just means a picture in this case, and this is not a diagram in the way that we've seen in our unit where we have our web. This is more of kind of a X marks the spot, like treasure map. Okay, so I'll get into it what that really means, but just think you are going to be showing me locations of where rocks are formed and where processes occur that we've talked about over this unit. Okay, so what's the purpose of this? I want you to put what we've learned into action by creating something that shows what you know. So instead of just having our test that we just took, you are going to be using what you know to create this diagram. And this diagram is going to show where certain rocks are, what creates them, and how geologic processes affect the earth through landforms. All right, just some logistics here. This is a CSA. We have 3 categories in our grade book. We have our classwork, which is 20%, labs and quizzes, which are 40%, and then CSA, which is 40% as well. Okay, it is in a 40% category, so this means this is a very large portion of your grade. CSAs do not happen very often. This is not like a lab that you're going to have numerous labs in a quarter. You will have like 2 to 4 CSAs in a semester. So 18 weeks, we will have maybe 4 of these. So if you do poorly on this, it is going to really, really, really impact your grade. I'm talking, if we are doing this at the beginning of the year, it's going to drop your grade 40%. So if you have a 100% and you don't turn this in, you're going to have a 60%. And not only that, since there's not many things in this category, even if you get 100s on everything else, it's still going to impact your grade. And it makes it really, really hard to bring your grade up. So don't mess this up. Do not be dumb and go and not turn it in. Turn it in when it's due. Do not sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Do it. This is 66 points, and we're going to divide this up into 2 parts. Part 1 is a worksheet, or 2 worksheets, and they're worth 44 points, and meaning it's the meat of the project. And then we have part 2, which is the actual diagram, and that's worth 22 points. All right, so depending on how we're working, okay, this is going to be either a 4 or 5 day project. We're going to divide it into half. We've got our caption worksheet, and then we have our diagram. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to do your worksheet because it's more points, it's more important, and you are going to use this worksheet to create paragraphs for each of our 4 types of rocks: sedimentary, igneous, intrusive igneous, extrusive igneous, and metamorphic. And then you're going to create some paragraphs about the 6 different processes that we've talked about: weathering, erosion, sedimentation, crystallization, melting, and deformation. Okay? You're going to be giving real-life examples of all of them, and you're also going to be giving some characteristics and of rocks and what causes the forces to happen, or what is causing these forces, these processes. Then part 2 is a diagram. This is where you're going to draw different land features and the features of the earth, like the mantle and the convection currents. You're going to label where the rocks are created, and then you're going to also be labeling where different geologic processes happen. So like, where does sedimentation happen? Where does erosion happen? That kind of thing. And I'll get into a little bit more to show you what that looks like. Here's our timeline. So again, this is going to be more of a 5 day project, looking at how things have happened in the past. We started this project on Wednesday, 9/11, and that's where we introduced the project, get our worksheet work done. Okay, a little bit of work on your worksheet. Then on Thursday, we are working on our worksheet again. Okay, you should be done, you should definitely be done with the worksheet on the first worksheet on Thursday. Then Friday, you're going to finish your worksheets and you will begin your diagram. I will start talking about the diagram on Friday. Okay, that's where I'm probably going to stop us about 10 minutes in, and 10 minutes before class ends, and I'm going to say, here's what our diagram should look like. These are my expectations, and then get you to work on that. On Monday, you'll have your diagram work again. You'll have another chance to work on the diagram. And then Tuesday, you will finish your diagram. You will have 30 minutes of class to finish your diagram. You will then self-grade, and you will peer grade as well to see kind of a reflection of what other people think your work is. Then Wednesday the 18th, it is due. You are turning it in the minute you step foot in class. We are starting a new unit on Wednesday. So that means you have to turn in your work, period. We will have 5 full class days to work on this. That's almost 5 hours of work in class, okay? So not expecting you to take it home. You can, definitely, but 5 hours of class time is a lot of time that we've set aside for this project. So there's absolutely no late work, okay? No late work at all. I'm not taking it. Of course, if you're sick or something like that, yes, I understand, but I will not take late work on this one. All right, moving on. Some examples. So this is what these look like. I know that some of us think that we're not great drawers, or we're not great artists. We can't color where handwriting isn't great. You can make that better in this project, okay? You can put that effort in. Don't make it subpar, okay? Make it the best you can make it. So examples of A-level work are right here. These are from my class. These are from my classes last year. Okay, we've got Zane's over here. Zane came to me and said, Ms. Dugan, I'm not a great artist. I said, hey, it's okay. It's fine. Do your best. And this is what he came up with. This is A-level work. It's neatly colored. You can see that it takes up the entire page. And ultimately, it's A-level work. It looks great. Is it Picasso? Absolutely not. But he did a great job. Then we've got Riley over on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, whatever it is, what you're looking at. And Riley did a great job too. She is more of a Picasso-esque, okay? But still, it looks nice. It's presentable. It's legible. It's legible, okay? It's colored neatly, and there are no white spaces. This is A-level work. This is above my expectation. Now, worksheet. So, before we get started, worksheet expectations. This goes for everything, okay? If you get an A, you are going above and beyond, okay? You are going above my expectations. So when I talk about expectations, that is B-level work. That means that you are meeting 7th grade standards. If you are approaching 7th grade standards, so you're not quite there, you're getting a C. And D-level work, you're not meeting it. If you get an F, that means you didn't try. That means you're missing a bunch. You just didn't care. Okay? Keep that in mind. A means that we go above and beyond. All right, so 1.1. Our worksheets are divided into 2 worksheets, so it's not overwhelming for you. But our first worksheet is going to be over our types of rocks. And we're going to go over what our baseline expectations are. And that's our B-level work right here. So B-level work means that our characteristics of each rock are fully and accurately communicated, and the formation of the rock is defined. And we have an example for each rock. Okay? Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, I want us to look at A-level work. A-level work has a little bit of a caveat, meaning there's some extra there. Okay, A-level work also includes an example of this rock and explains how the characteristics classify it as such. All right, for example, we know that conglomerate rocks are sedimentary. The way that you would go from a B to an A is you would have to explain to me how you know a conglomerate rock is a sedimentary rock. In this case, B-level work would say an example of sedimentary rocks are conglomerate rocks. A-level work would add this sentence. Conglomerate rock, but conglomerate rocks are sedimentary rocks because blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to give you the answer on that one, okay? So it's adding that because, that level of understanding of how do we know it is a sedimentary rock. You will do these 4 paragraphs, one for each type of rock, so sedimentary, metamorphic, intrusive, and extrusive igneous. And then we're going to move on to part 1.2. So this one talks about the description of processes. Looking at the B-level work. B-level work, you are going to tell me, you're going to fully and accurately define the process. You're going to list the correct outcomes and forces of each process. And then you have to give me a real-life example. Tell me something in the world that is weathering. What's an event that shows weathering? What's an event that shows sedimentation? Now, if we look at the difference again, A-level work also includes an explanation of a real-life event, or a real-life example. Let's take weathering, for example. And B-level work would be, an example of weathering includes rocks, water running over rocks to make them smooth. Okay. B-level work, you gave me an example. A-level work would add on the sentence of, this is an example of weathering because, and then explain why that's weathering. It is weathering because it's breaking down rock to make, the water is breaking down rock to make it smooth. Okay? So you see the difference. B-level work lacks the because. It lacks the explanation of how this happens. All right, part 2 diagram. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to draw your landscape. You have to include, required to include a mountain, volcano, ocean, river, the mantle, and convection currents. Because what is driving all of the processes of plate tectonics, not mid-ocean ridges, but seafloor spreading, all of that are the convection currents. They are a driving force in Earth's just cycle of everything. Okay? So you have to draw those on your poster. Then, step 2, labeling the rocks and processes. You are going to draw a text box and label where each rock is found. You have to include sedimentary, metamorphic, intrusive, and extrusive igneous. I gave you an example. So here's my mountain, here's my volcano. Okay? So right here we have, I just drew a text box. I'm not going to give you the answer here, but there's a type of rock that is forming down under the ocean. You label what that rock is. This process right here is the process of rock being pushed upward into the mountain. You would label that here. And then down here by the mantle, what kind of rock forms deep below Earth's crust due to deformation? You would label that there. Okay? Now, the next part, again, you're going to draw text boxes and label where each of the processes are happening. You have weathering, erosion, sedimentation, deformation, melting, crystallization, and uplift. And this uplift, okay, this one right here, if you have questions, you need to ask about it. Look at your definition. Where do you think that's going to happen? All right? Finally, our last step is coloring. Okay, coloring, I know some of us don't like coloring, but tough tookies, all right? You got to do it. Make sure that it is 7th grade level. All right, good luck, guys. You have the rubrics. You know my expectations. I do expect you to go above, I expect you to be at 7th grade level. I do. All of you know this information. It is in your science notebook or Gus. Get it done. Turn it in on time so we don't lose 30%. All right, stay curious, my friends.